Welcome to our webinar, Quick Simple Tricks to Improve Your Email Marketing Results, Essential Tips to Implement After Sending Your First Email. If you're a note taker, grab a pen and paper. If not, don't worry, you'll receive this recording of the webinar in your inbox later today, so you can rewatch as many times as you'd like. During today's webinar, we'll spend the first 25 minutes in presentation mode. That's where I'm going to introduce today's concepts. Then I'll spend about 20 minutes in a live constant contact account, walking you through the steps to accomplish what you've learned. And then I will save about 10 or 15 minutes for some Q&A at the end. As a small business marketer, we know that you're busy. You spend time designing, writing content, and formatting your emails. But it's not enough to just send an email campaign and hope that they open it. You need them to take an action, something that's going to help you reach your goals. So how do you get more people to open your emails and take the actions you want them to take? That's why we've put together a list of quick and simple tricks you can implement to improve your email marketing results. For those of you who've joined us for our other webinars, you'll notice that we'll be reinforcing a few ideas from other sessions and learning a lot of new tips along the way. This is to reinforce those ideas because they play an important role in improving your email marketing results. Let's see more specifically what we're going to learn today. First, it's important to understand where your email marketing results fall. So that's why we'll start by setting expectations for your open and click rates. Then I'll share how to actually influence your open and click rates. You'll learn 9 tips to help you improve your results. Lastly, I'll show you how to use the features within your constant contact account to get the most out of email marketing for your business or organization. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Caitlin, and I'm a Senior Customer Success Specialist here at Constant Contact. I'm well-versed in email and event marketing, and I'm excited to bring my experience to the session. So let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about what to expect for your open and click rates. How many of you already know the average open rate for the emails you've sent? Do you want to put that in the chat window? What's your average open rate, if you've sent yet? Bob says like 35 to 40%. Awesome. Aspen's at 10%, or she says 15 to 30. Evelyn says 10%. Robin's at like 15 to 20%. David says 12. Donna's 15 to 30. Kathy's 18 to 20%. Diane has 42%. Wow, that's awesome. All right. Well, when you first get started with email marketing, you might not know what to expect in terms of results. What is a good open rate? What's a good click-through rate? If you don't have a baseline to compare these numbers to, you may feel like you're not doing very well when in fact you may be doing better than most. So let me give you some benchmarks so you'll have a better understanding of how well you're doing. Constant Contact has examined data from over 200 million emails and determined that average open rates are typically anywhere between 10 and 25%. So all of you seem to be in that range or even above. And a good click-through rate is 4 to 15%. And while those numbers may seem low, they're actually really good. These are general ranges as well, but keep in mind these rates can vary based on your industry. It's important to have proper expectations on where your results should be so that you can better adjust your email marketing strategy. The open and click rates are just a starting point to understand the impact of email marketing on your business goals. I definitely encourage you to look beyond just opens and clicks. You can take a look at other areas of your business as well, like sales or donations, to determine where you can improve. With all that in mind, you can actually add an industry to your account's profile. So I'm going to show you how to do that within your Constant Contact account. That way you can better compare your own results against similar businesses or organizations in your reporting information. So I'm opening up my account here. To set this up, you'll click on the name in the top right of the account. Then you'll click on My Account. And then it's on the right side of the page here. And it's this business profile option. So I'll click on that one. And then the first question on this page is where you set the industry on your account. I'm going to choose restaurants as an example, but you can just find whatever's closest to your business. You can fill out the rest of these questions if you want, but you don't necessarily have to. So I'll just skip that part for now. And then I'll go ahead and click on Submit. Once you've done this, you'll be able to view your reports against others in your own industry. So let's do that now. That'll be on the Reporting tab here at the top. Click on that. And you are able to see the industry metrics within each report. So I'm going to show you here where to see it. We're going to scroll down and look at the table of information here. If we look at this email, for example, we got a 26.5% open rates, but then we can dig into that. That was 9 people that opened it. So if I click on the number 9, we're going to get some more information here. So as you can see here in the top, the industry average for restaurants is 14%, and my average, this is for the last 10 campaigns, so my average there is 46%. So I am way above average, which is awesome. This is a demo account though, so ours may be a little higher than you would see, but as you can see, even if we got 20, 19%, we're still above average, which is great. You can also, if we click on this drop down here, we can look at the industry metrics for our click report as well. So I'm going to go to that one. So our industry average is 5%. Our average is 26. So once again, we are doing great. Now that you know where your email results rank, then you'll be able to know where to focus your energies to make improvements. So that'll bring us back here to the next section. And that's how to actually influence those open and click rates for your email campaigns. And I actually have 9 tips to help you improve your results. Did you know that it takes about 100 milliseconds for you to form an impression of someone? The truth is that your subscribers are forming impressions of your emails just as quickly. You don't have much time to capture readers' attention, so you have to make it count. It all starts with what your readers see in the inbox, and you have to make it stand out among the hundreds of other emails that may already be in there. And this is where the header information of your email comes into play. It's your first and only chance to make a great first impression that makes them want to open your email. So how do you get it just right? First, it's important to know that people open emails from senders that they know and trust. So make sure your from information is easily recognizable to your subscribers and that it remains consistent for every email that you send. You don't want to cause confusion with your readers. This is one of those tips you may have heard in other sessions. Without a proper from name, your contacts will be less likely to even open your email. Some email programs display the from name, while others display the from email address. So both fields are equally important. For most of you, the from name is going to be your company name. And then for the from email address, we suggest using an email address from your business domain. In this example, the from name is displayed as Jack's Backyard Barbecue. All of their subscribers will recognize this name and know exactly who the email is from. There's a couple of other fields in your header. So tip number 2 is to capture attention with your subject line. Once your reader trusts the sender, they're going to look at the subject to see if they want to open the email. The subject has to entice them to open the email, and it needs to be short and sweet, especially when people get it in their mobile inbox. How long do you think a subject line should be? Do you want to share your guess in the chat window? What do you think we suggest there? All right, yeah, Renee says 5 words. Tony says 4 to 6 words. Kathy says 50 characters. Robin says 4 to 6 as well. David said less than 8. 4 to 5 words, fewer if long words, says Bob. Yeah, that's a good point. Okay, well, yeah, you're all kind of in the general range there of what we suggest. From our research, we found that emails with the highest open rate have a subject line of 4 to 7 words. With such little space to work with, you do have to use those words and characters wisely. So you have to get creative and to entice your readers. Here's just a few ideas to spark your creativity. First, using you or your will make your email feel more personal to your audience. You can even test adding in contact details into the subject line to customize it with their name. One example subject line might look something like, schedule your consultation today. Another option is to create a sense of urgency. An example here is, last chance, register by Friday. You can also make your readers laugh with a joke. In this case, an example could be, read between the wines. If you can, pull at their heartstrings with an emotional subject line, like, take 5 minutes to help fight hunger. You can also pique their interest and tease them a bit with something such as, you don't want to miss this. Next, you can be inquisitive and ask your readers a question with a headline such as, are your investments working for your business? And last but not least, try incorporating numbers. Numbers attract attention as our brains are naturally drawn to digits. So try something like 5 tips for perfectly grilled ribs. All of those are great. And while you want your email to stand out in the inbox, there's also a few things you want to avoid. After all of your work, you don't want your email to end up in a spam filter. First, you want to avoid words such as free, guarantee, and spam. It's also important to stray away from certain phrases. For instance, be amazed, your income, subject to credit approval, earn $2,000 per week, and act now. Finally, don't type your subject in all caps, use excessive punctuation, or too many symbols. Spammers use a variety of these tactics in their subject lines, so be sure to avoid these things in order to land in your subscriber's inbox. Now, let's talk about another important field in your header information to improve your results. Does anyone know what this piece of information is that I've highlighted on the screen? Want to throw that guess in the chat window there? Bob says pre-header. Bridget says sub-headline. David says subheading. Robin says pre-header. Marita says subheader. All right. Yeah, you're all kind of correct there along the same lines, at least. The way we refer to it is the pre-header. And that's our third tip to entice your reader to open the email. You'll want to use it as an extension of your subject line. This text shows up directly below or after the subject line in the inbox. Research shows that proper use of pre-header text is one of the most effective ways to increase your open rates. We recommend pre-header text that's between 5 to 8 words. All email programs and devices will show different lengths of your pre-header, so just make sure the most important information is at the very beginning. So now I have a few ideas for writing your pre-header text. First, you could use it as a way to tease your audience and make them curious to open the email. Here's an example letting readers know about secrets to growing their business through new marketing tactics by saying, get our 3 secrets to growing your business. Another way is to consider using it as a call to action. This will help to create a sense of urgency and encourage your subscribers to open right away before they have a chance to be distracted by other messages in their inbox. This example says, reserve your spot today. Our classes fill quickly. And finally, consider using pre-header text to incentivize your subscribers to open your emails. It's no secret that people sign up to receive your emails because they expect to get something of value. Give them a reason to open and read the rest of your message by offering an exclusive discount or special content. This example says, win $100 in our cook-off contest. These are all great examples to entice readers to quickly open your email. So just like peanut butter and jelly, and even cookies and milk, your header information should all work together for the best results. Your from information should be easily recognizable, and then your subject and pre-header text should work together to entice people to open. Your subject line should be short and catchy, whereas your pre-header text is your chance to elaborate and give some detail. In this example from motivational speakers, they use the subject line, don't miss October's special, or speaker. You'll notice for the supporting pre-header text, they use the call to action technique when they say RSVP today. And then they also created a sense of urgency by adding spaces limited. Here's another example from Everything Office Supply. Their subject line is save up to 30% on school supplies. They use the pre-header text to tease content by letting readers know there's a coupon inside. And then they also create a sense of urgency by including an expiration date for the coupon. And these are just a couple examples you can follow for the header of your next email campaign. Like I said before, it's not enough to just get your subscribers to open the email. You have to get them to do something once they open it. And that's why you need to take time to really think about what you want your readers to do after reading your email campaign. And that is your call to action tip 4. Every email should have one call to action that can be tied back to whatever goal you set. Keep in mind, you don't want to provide your subscribers with too many options. Just keep your email simple to encourage people to click and take action from your email. All you really need is a picture, paragraph, and call to action. This simple email design will make your email easy to read and encourage your subscribers to take action. Let's talk about the essential elements that the body of your email needs. First, add a supporting image to visually grab your reader's attention and draw them into your message. Additionally, you'll want to make this image clickable to the same place as your call to action, and it'll provide a larger area for your subscribers to click, especially when they open on a mobile device. Furthermore, add some text to your picture using the image editor within your account. It's a great way to catch your reader's attention even more. Next, you should add a headline that describes what you're offering. Underneath that, your message body should explain how it'll help the reader. You typically only need about 3 to 5 sentences that give your subscribers the information they need to take action. Don't forget to add a button and use the button text to tell your readers what you want them to do next. And make sure you use action-oriented words. So think of things like register by April 1st, get my free copy, book your appointment today, or donate to save a life. You'll also want to make your button stand out by using one of your brand colors and ensure your readers can easily see the call to action. So now you have tips to optimize the body of the email itself. There's also a few things you'll want to keep in mind about your overall email marketing strategy to improve your results. Let's take a look at those. Let me start by asking you to think about your own inbox. What do you do with emails that don't apply to you? Want to put that in the chat window? Amy says delete it. Joni says delete. Diane says delete before reading. Yeah. Bob says mark as spam or delete. Dexter says trash. Nina says delete, delete, delete. Diane says even unsubscribe. Yeah, exactly. And that's why sending targeted emails is really important. When people don't receive relevant information, they're likely to just delete your message or even unsubscribe, as you all said there. And that can add up to a lot of wasted time and effort. When sending targeted emails, stats show increased open rates by as much as 11% and increased clicks by as much as 27%. This will certainly help you get the most out of your time and effort to segment and create relevant content. When more people open and click, that also means they're more likely to make a purchase or donation. Plus, stats show that targeted emails have been known to generate as much as 58% of all revenue. Now, in order to send the right message to the right people, you have to understand your readers. How many of you have heard of the term segmenting? Do you want to just raise your hand if you have? Okay, yeah, definitely see some hands going up there. By dividing your contacts into what we call segments or groups of contacts, you're categorizing similar people together. The segments you identify will have similar needs, wants, or demand characteristics. And segmenting allows you to create targeted content based on those categories, thereby increasing your chances of them opening your email and taking action. It helps to see a few examples on how you can segment your email lists. You can really segment your email list based on anything you know about your contacts. So think of things such as demographics or characteristics. This might include looking at their age, gender, marital status, or income. One example here is that a nursery uses information about its subscribers about teens and commercial customers' availability of bulk nursery products. Depending on your business, you might consider your subscribers' geographic location. You could split them up based on their zip code, city, state, or even the store location closest to them. In this case, a restaurant might send special promotions that are unique to each of its different locations. You can also segment based on their behaviors or patterns and how they interact with your business. This can include their purchases. However, you can also utilize where they click in your emails, and that's where the click segmentation feature comes into play. You can automatically add contacts to a list based on where they click in your email campaigns. In this case, a cosmetic boutique might send one discount to customers who click to buy makeup and another to those who click to buy hair care products. So now you've got some ideas to help you segment and send relevant targeted emails. When we get to the demo in just a few minutes, I'll show you how to segment your email list using the features in your account. So now let's move on to the next tip to improve your email results, number 6, and that's to send at the right time. Ideally, you want to target a day and time that your contacts are most likely to open. This can vary based on your industry and even the demographics of your email subscribers. When you can send your email at a time that your audience is less inundated with tons of emails, they'll be more likely to open and read yours. Within your account, you'll be able to identify trends that are specific to your own audience by viewing your opens report. When you look at the list of people who opened, look on the right in the date and time column. In this case, we can see that most people opened on Monday, August 6th. On our next email, we can try sending on a Monday around 9 a.m. We'll check the open report for our different emails to see if we notice any different trends and adjust accordingly. It's really easy to find this information, so let's move on to tip number 7. And this is where we need to find a balance between communicating on a regular basis to stay top of mind with your readers and sending too much. Nothing can be more frustrating to a subscriber than receiving too much email. It's a good way to get people to unsubscribe. On the other hand, you need to ensure that you're sending enough to where they don't forget about you. People are busy, so if you wait too long to communicate, you risk the chance of them forgetting they signed up to your mailing list, which increases the chance that they mark your email as spam. In a general sense, we recommend you plan on sending twice a month. Keep in mind, there's times where it may make sense to send more, depending on your goals and the relevance of your emails. At the very least, you should send an email once a month. Any less, and you run the risk of your contacts forgetting about your business. And I encourage you to use the information in your reports from the past emails that you've sent to create a benchmark for your business. Your open rates will let you know if people are looking forward to receiving your emails, and your unsubscribes can also help you determine if you're sending too much. So everything from the header of your email to optimizing your send time and frequency is important for improving your results. However, it's not effective if you don't have a good quality email list. That leads us into tip 8, which is to manage your bounces. A bounce occurs when an email isn't able to be delivered, and it identifies email addresses that are not effective. An internet service provider or ISP will look at your bounce rate and determine whether your email gets delivered. That's why removing bounces protects your sending reputation to keep your deliverability high. Bounces happen for a variety of reasons, and in order to effectively remove your bounces, it's important to understand the different types. So there's 7 types of bounces. I'm going to provide a brief overview of what each means. Don't worry about writing it all down. We'll share a handout at the end that includes a link to an FAQ where you can reference all of this information again. First up are the 3 types we recommend to remove. Removing these bounces on a regular basis will help you to maintain a healthy sending reputation online and save you money in the future. Non-existent bounces happen when a contact's ISP says that an email address doesn't exist. Oftentimes, this is due to a typo in the email address or the person has left the company. The next undeliverable is like a busy signal. When the email was sent, the ISP didn't respond. Constant Contact attempts to send to these addresses for up to 3 days, and if there's still no response, we label it as a bounce in your report. The last type we recommend to remove is called suspended. Sending an email to the same non-existent addresses over and over can poorly impact your delivery rate. To help with this, addresses that consistently bounce as non-existent are placed on an internal hold to prevent sending to them again. There's 4 other types you'll want to review within this report. You don't necessarily need to remove these bounces. However, it's a good idea to try reaching out another way to get a new email address from these contacts so they can receive your emails in the future. If you aren't able to obtain a new email address, then you can remove these ones as well. When an email address bounces as blocked, the ISP has decided not to deliver it. In some cases, the ISP thinks the email is spam due to something within the email triggering it to get blocked. The mailbox full and auto reply bounce categories are pretty self-explanatory. However, when an auto reply is on, the email is delivered to the inbox, but it shows as a bounce to let you know. When the other category is triggered, it means the message can't be delivered and doesn't fit any other categories. Remember, removing non-existent, undeliverable, and suspended bounces will help you maintain a healthy sending reputation online and save you money in the future. I'll show you how to remove your bounces in just a moment. That leads us into the last tip, which is to resend important emails to non-openers. No matter how hard you try to keep people engaged, not everyone is going to open every email. So this feature allows you to automatically resend an email to those who didn't open it the first time. I'll show you how to find and use this feature in just a few minutes, but I have some tips to keep in mind when you use this tool. First, only resend important emails. You don't want to resend every one. Second, test out the different timing between 3 and 7 days to see what works best for your audience. For time-sensitive emails, try as soon as 3 days. And for informational emails, we suggest waiting a few more days. Lastly, the feature gives you the ability to use a different subject line to catch their attention better. You could try adding last chance, reminder, or even don't forget to the subject line. Be sure to test it out and see what works best for your audience. And that's it. Those are the 9 tips that'll help you to improve your email marketing results. Now I'm going to log back into a live Constant Contact account so I can show you how to remove the bounces and use the features that we talked about to help you segment your list. So let's log back in here. All right, so I'm going to start by showing you how to set up the click segmentation feature. You'll set this up when you're creating your email campaign. So let's go over to the Campaigns tab. And I have a draft email we can work with here. So I'm going to just click on my brisket promo. To set this up, we need to add in a link. So once this pulls up here, I'm going to link up the button that's in here. Right now it says visit our website. This is our call to action. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to make the text here a little bit more action oriented and specific to the action I want them to take. So I'm going to say make a reservation because that's what I want them to do. And then I'll click on link, this option here, and I'm going to link it to a web page. And then I have Jack's website open here, so I can just copy the link, come back here, and I'll paste it. So now we have the link set up, so when people click on the link, they'll go to the website to make a reservation. But then what we'll do is click on this Enable Click Segmentation, and we can choose a list for these people to go into. So once someone clicks on the link to make a reservation, behind the scenes, we can have them automatically added to, for example, we have an online reservations list. Now, if you don't have a list set up already that you want them to get saved into, you can create a new list from this page as well. But then I'll just go ahead and click Insert, and I'll click Done, and that's all set. Now, in order to send this email to a targeted list, I would click up here on Continue. This is a promotional email, and I know I have specific people who signed up to my specials and promotions list, or maybe they were added there from a previous click segmentation. So I can check that box. And this is how you just target and segment, is by choosing the specific list that you want the email to go to. And then maybe I'll just schedule this out for a later date and click schedule, and that's good to go. Once the contacts click on the button, they're going to be added to the online reservations list, and I can send more of those targeted messages to those contacts. Now, once my email's sent, we can go to the Contacts tab, and we can look at that list. So I sent out a different email with the same click segmentation. So if I click on View All Lists on the left side, just so I can see all my lists, then in the online reservations list, there's 6. So that means 6 people must have clicked on that link in a past email. And then I can click into this and see who they are. But then I can also send an email to this group of people the next time I'm looking for people to make a reservation. So it's pretty simple to set that up. Let's move on to the next tip. I'm going to show you how to find the best time to send. And we will look at that from the reporting. So I'm going to click up here on the reporting tab, and we're going to scroll back down, look at our table again, and actually click into that open report that we were looking at before. there's going to be a column right here, this date and time column, and that shows the day and time each contact opened the email. And this is where you can look for trends to determine a better day and time to send your future emails. For this email campaign, most people opened on March 26th, and that was a Monday. So for my next email, I'll try setting on a Monday around 11:30 a.m. to see how that impacts the open rate. And this part's really pretty simple too, to look for those trends. So I'm going to switch gears again and talk about the next tip, which is to segment your list using your existing click reports. So keep in mind the click segmentation feature automates this process, but if you've already sent emails and you didn't use click segmentation, these are the steps you'll follow to use your existing reports. So I'm going to move to that report from here, this drop-down menu. I'm going to actually look at the links report. This will allow us to see all of the links that we put in our email, and then the number of people that clicked on each link. And then we can dive in, see who they are, and we'll know who is interested in that type of information. So we included a link for people to make a reservation in this email as well. 2 people clicked on it. So if I click on that number 2, we'll see who they are. And these people are taking advantage of reserving a table in advance. So then we can add them to a list. And that's just a matter of selecting them all. There's a checkbox at the top. Click on Actions, and here's the Add to List option right here. And then I could add these people onto the online reservations list as well, and then click Add. So the next time we run any promotions for this segment of customers, we'll be sure to send that information to this list. And you can do this for a few past emails, and then you'll have a great start for segmenting your lists. But now let's switch gears again so I can show you how to manage your bounces and keep your list clean. So I'm going to click up here to go back. And then I'll toggle here under this drop-down menu to a different report, which is the bounced. When you first come to the bounce page, we're looking at all of the bounces right here. You can change that though if you want to view specific categories like all these different ones we talked about, or you can look at just the ones that were recommended for removal. And it's important to know that many times an email address may bounce due to a typo. So you can actually click on an email address, like if we did notice a typo here, and it would take us to the contact record. And then this is where we can actually edit their information. So I can click this little edit option up here for the name. The big thing though is we can click to edit the email address, change that, save it, and then we can go back to the report, and then that'll be fixed and good to go there. Now you can also delete your bounces, which is what we recommend for those that aren't typos, because a lot of times it'll be an old email address. It just doesn't exist anymore. They don't work at that company anymore. So you can delete all of your bounces at once. You can do the checkbox at the top, click on Actions, and Delete is that option there. So it's pretty quick and simple to manage the bounces. Just remember, it's important to do this on a regular basis to maintain a good online sending reputation. Plus, you'll have more room for positive growth in your email list. And so let's move on to the Resend feature that I want to show you. And that's going to be on the schedule page of a regular email campaign. So we'll switch back to campaigns. And let's take a look at this one. I'm going to click here on More and just go straight here to the schedule page. So this is the page where you choose all the sending options. We looked at that a little bit before. So you're choosing who and when you want it to send. So maybe this one I'll just do general interest list. Maybe it'll go out later day, something like that. But then there's this option here on the bottom right to resend to non-openers. And this allows you to automatically resend your email after a certain number of days to the people that didn't open it. So I'm going to check that box, and you'll see we can have it resend anywhere from 3 to 7 days later. And you do want to choose a timing based on your email's objective. So since this is promotional, it's sort of time sensitive. So we'll just do 3 days later. And then here is the default subject line, and it just put reminder in front of the subject line, but you can change that. I could say, instead of reminder, I could say last chance, or you could even delete this entire subject line and do something completely different to test a different subject line with your audience. But then I'll just click on confirm, and then it tells us here what day it'll send, or resend, I should say. And then you'll just click schedule at the top. Now I want to show you the other side of this, which is how to look in your reports. So we'll go back to the reporting tab, find the name. We do have an email, this first one that we did the resend on. So I'm clicking on the name of that. And we can see here, we get these bars. So the blue one is the original send. The green is the automatic resend for both the opens and the clicks. And then the details are broken out down here. So the first time, the original send, 12 people opened it, and on the resend, 7 more opened it, which is great. And then that all adds up to a 47% open rate. And same with the clicks. So the first time, no one clicked on the link, actually. So it's a good thing we resent it, because we just got another person then to click, and then that's the green menu there. And this feature is really a great way to boost your open rate on important emails. You'll be able to test out the different timings and the subject lines so you can see what works best to increase your open rate. This ability to resend to non-openers is in all paying accounts, so be sure to look for it on that schedule page when scheduling a regular newsletter. And that's it. Those are all of the features you'll want to be sure to utilize to improve your email marketing results. They're easy to use, and once you use them a few times, you'll be a pro and have much better results. So let's go ahead and start to wrap up our session today. So to recap, understanding how to improve your email marketing is going to help you get results for your business or organization. Whether that's more sales, donations, or more supporters or clients, you'll want to start by understanding where your results fall. So add an industry to your account. Then you can compare your results against similar businesses to get a better understanding of where you can improve. Don't forget about the 9 tips to improve your open and click rates. Remember, they are to make your from information recognizable, capture attention with your subject line, enhance your subject line with pre-header text, encourage them to take action, send the right messages to the right people, send at the right time, adjust your sending frequency, keep your list clean, and utilize the resend to non-openers feature on important emails. We've got a handout you can download. It has these 9 tips and some resources that you can reference in the future. Just look in the handout section of your GoToWebinar dashboard to open the handout and save it to your desktop so you can reference it later. Lastly, practice using the tools in your account to accomplish all of this. And don't forget to set up that click segmentation feature in your next email campaign. That way you can automate the process to begin segmenting your list in order to send more relevant information to your subscribers. All right, so now we have some time for your questions, so feel free to type those in. We do have a lot of people joining us today, so we'll do our best to get all of your questions answered. If we don't happen to get to your question for whatever reason, we do have a lot of resources to help, so we'll talk about those in a few minutes. While everyone's sending in your questions, also, I'm going to have my colleague add a couple links into the chat window. So the first link is to a short 4-question survey about this webinar, just so you can tell us what you think about today's session. We'd love any feedback and suggestions you have to improve the webinar. And then I do want to let you know about an upcoming webinar we have on Tuesday. It's called Create and Send Your First Email Campaign in 15 Minutes or Less. It's another free hour-long session. Starts at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's a great webinar. It walks you through creating an email from beginning to end and creating a master template for sending an email. So I highly recommend that one. Feel free to click on the link to register for that. But let me take a look now at your questions. I see some good ones coming in here. So Nina had a question, is there a difference between an email and a newsletter, or for the purposes of the webinar, are they the same thing? Yeah, they're the same thing. An email is sort of the term for, the general term for it, but then there's different types of emails you might send, newsletters, promotions. So we kind of use the terms interchangeably. And then we have another question Nina asked about the bounces. So for the mailbox full or auto reply, that can be temporary. So do you suggest giving them another shot? And yeah, definitely for those ones, those people got it for the auto reply at least. So the bounce back is just that out of office message. The mailbox full, you could, so definitely leave the auto reply. The mailbox full, you could try sending to again, just in case they end up checking the inbox and deleting some emails, so it's not full anymore. But it's pretty hard to fill up an inbox, so chances are they're just not using that email address anymore. Here's another good one. Does Constant Contact have an archive feature for emails so that a contact can see previous campaigns? Yes, we do. Let me go back to the account. Should be here on the campaigns page. You can, it's right here, this archived newsletters option. So any newsletter you send, we haven't done it in this account, but you can archive them, and then you get a widget with some like HTML code that you can embed on your website, this right here. And then you can have it automatically display with the most recent 10 emails on the website. So because it's a code, it'll update automatically. And you can go up to 100. That might take up an entire page on your website then. But so definitely we do have that. Check that out. Another great question. I'm just going through, I know my colleague answered some of these for you, Nina, but just so everyone else can hear the answer as well. So she also asked, can you create additional segmented lists after the email has been sent? And yeah, you definitely can. You can save the opens into a contact list too, is another option back in the reporting. You can do the click segmentation for one link, but then if you realize there's another link you wanted segmented from, you can do that. I demoed that part, just selecting all the contacts and saving them to a list. So you can even, if we were to click into the opens, no, let me go back. Let's do the other one. If I were to click into the opens here, because we get to this new view, in this drop-down menu, you can do did not open. And you can save those to a contact list as well. Sometimes people like to go in and re-engage them, especially if you didn't do the resend to non-openers. This would be a way to manually resend to the people who didn't open it, because you can save them to a list. Great question. And then David asked, what is the new segments option? So I can show you that. This is actually really cool. And it does some of this segmenting as well, a little bit more automatically. So it's up here. I'm on the contacts page. I click on segments. This is good for sort of like historical reporting too. So if I were to create a new segment, let's say I want to get a list of everybody who hasn't opened my past 5 emails or hasn't opened an email in a year, something like that. So I would name my segment did not open, something like that. Maybe I'll put today's date. And then contact activity. So I could say, and there's all these options, opens, clicked, sent, they weren't sent, did not open. I'll do that though. Then you could choose like any of your last 5 emails, a specific email, or any email. And then in the last or between. So you just really get to narrow all these down. And I always think it's kind of cool or helpful to even see like in the past year or 2 years is an option who hasn't opened it, because they are very unengaged, especially if you're sending twice a month. That means they've gotten like 24 emails from you and haven't opened them. So you need to try to re-engage them. So then you could have from a specific list if you want, or not on any list is an option. If they're not on a list, you definitely want to look for that because they're not even being sent an email if they're not on a list. But you can also delete that if you don't want to search by that. Same with contact details. This is where like geographic location comes in, company name. I'm going to delete that. If you have Shopify, there's some different options there as well. But I just want to search for the people that didn't open any email in the last year. So I'll save that. And then it actually saves them in a segment, and you can send an email to a segment rather than a list. And what's great about the segments is you can refresh it. So if someone does on this group does end up opening my next email, I can refresh the segment and then they won't be in this group anymore because they have opened an email. So it's really fun to play around with, especially if you've been a customer with us for a while. And this says there's no contacts matching the criteria. So that's good. That means in the past year, all of my contacts have opened an email at least once. So that's great. So feel free to play around with that. That's a pretty new feature. It's pretty cool. Gary asks, is there a maximum number recommended of retries for unopened? So the automatic resend will only resend once. So if you wanted to resend it again, you'd have to do it manually. Although we wouldn't recommend doing it more than once unless you're significantly changing the content enough for it to be different, because people will catch on that they're getting the same email over and over, and then they might unsubscribe or they might not open future emails then that have new content. So definitely want to, once is usually okay, but not more than that. Dexter asked, I send my email product updates once a week. What weekday in the Monday through Friday work week has shown to generate the highest open and click results? So that's a really good question. And it actually depends on your industry. So kind of generally like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday is good, just because they're in the middle of the week and not as close to the weekend. But if you want to look up your industry, click or days and times to send, you can click on help. We have an article on it, so you can search best times to send. And then it's the first result here. If I open it in a new tab, so if you have products, maybe you're in retail. If so, let's see if that's listed on here. Like a brick and mortar or online store, Tuesday at 1 a.m. it says. Pharmaceutical sales, that might still fall under retail actually. Some of these are very broad, so you kind of have to just find something that's close. I know there are health services, that says Monday at 8 p.m., but I don't know if it would quite fit under there. Nutritional services. So yeah, feel free to do that search and just look at this table, and you can see, Friday isn't listed on here too much. There are some Mondays, Monday afternoons. So maybe the idea there is they, after completing their day, their Monday, then they can catch up on their emails at the end of the day. You know your audience, you're the best though. So just think about what their day looks like. And if you're a B2B, you're sending to them at work. So that makes a difference. If you're like an online store that sells t-shirts, they probably shouldn't be buying t-shirts while they're at work, So maybe after work, they should be getting the emails. Just think of stuff like that. Look at your reporting, check this out, and just measure all your trends there. But all right, last one here. Is there a way to store sent campaigns outside the main campaign folder? We use master templates and they get lost in the sent emails and campaign folder. Yeah, so on campaigns, I don't know if you've tried this, you can create folders, like more segmented folders. So you could have like a folder for master templates, and then like if you only had 2 master templates, it would look something like this, and then they would pull up and you can go to more and make your copy and work with it that way. That would be my best suggestion, because you're right, once you start sending a lot, like we have 41, having to scroll through all of these can be hard. If you want to save them as like a document, any email that's been sent, you can print or download. So if you go to that, and this one really accomplished, I think, what you're looking to do, because this is then saving it as a PDF or an image outside of Constant Contact. So you can't edit this once it's a PDF or image because you're downloading it out of your account, but some people like to print them out. So that's how you would do that. All right, well, we have reached the end of our time. So I'll just wrap up by saying, if you have any questions in the future, we have a lot of resources, our FAQs, tutorials, more webinars, support. You can call and chat them. They're great. Just go to constantcontact.com/help, or that help thing I clicked on just a minute ago has you can access all those as well. But otherwise, thanks for joining us today for the webinar. We'd love to see you on Tuesday for the next one. You'll get an email later today with the recording, and the handout will be in there. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, have a good rest of your day.